solutions to the questions in your heart, I think this morning is an exceptional morning for that. I'm going to be reading out stories, reading out questions, reading out comments, reading out concerns of people who have inboxed me during the week, and we're going to be dealing with all these things together. Okay? Remember that the number to always send your comments to is 0553135074. 0553135074. We are going to be having a very, very comprehensive time this morning. And very, very importantly, I need you to understand that I am particular about the peace of your mind and the mental health of yourself. Now listen, every single person who is on this show today will be in every single way benefiting from the questions, the answers, the comments, and the discussions we're going to be having today. So stay tuned because it's about to go down, and certainly a lot has got to be learned. So far, we've discussed issues surrounding divorce for the last 3 weeks, and today we are nailing it and nailing it good. Conclusively, well, we're beginning with a conclusion because it's actually the last episode of this discussion talking about divorce and its effects. And I just like to say conclusively that no one is immune to having a divorce. No one is immune. Nobody who has it all together will always have it all together. If you think you can just always have it all together, it takes intentionality in persistence and consistency to avoid that kind of a situation where a divorce is inevitable. So basically, I'm just trying to say today that you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it if you don't work on it. Because you see, people who know that they have lasted in their marriage will tell you how much they have invested in that marriage to make it work. Now, the existence of a successful marriage is not dependent on two good people. It is dependent on two intentional people making it work for each other, for the common goal that they have together. Because you see, a lot of people say, oh, but she's a Christian, he's a Christian, he's a prayer warrior, she's a praise and worship leader, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, their pastor is so proud of them, and then they get married, and then before you know it, a few years down the line, sometimes months, the marriage is over. It's not because the man is a bad person. It's not because the woman is a bad person, but it's simply because something fundamental is missing, and that is the consistency of intentionality. Consistency and intentionality is are two different situations. Now, intentionality is knowing exactly what you need to invest into your marriage to make it work. Consistency is a no retreat, no surrender on the wisdom necessary for application into the situation. Now, before I allow my guests come in to educate us the more, I just want to leave this with you now. Every person has a divorce time bomb sitting on them the moment you agree to get married. Now, this is not a curse. This is not a whatever. You need to know it. That everyone has a divorce time bomb sitting with them, waiting for them to do the wrong things so that it is established. Listen to me. The forces of life do not want happy homes, do not want happy marriages. Because once we have no happy homes and no happy marriages, there's no way we're going to have the kind of society we desire to have. And so the target is to ruin the family sector, is to ruin the marital sector. Once the marital sector and family sector is out of the way, no other sector is going to exist successfully. None. I don't care what it is, financial, whatever society it is, whatever sector else it is. Once you remove the family sector or the marital sector from proper functionality in any society, that society begins to experience decadence. I'll give you an example, really. Check all the countries that are super successful. Just check. I'm not going to mention any country at all, so there's no bias. But check any super successful country in the world. There is an intentional commitment to the defense of women and children. Check it. It's intentional that there's a scrutiny of behavioral complexities in favor of mostly the women and the children. Why is that? Because when laws are put in place in defense of women, a lot of compliance come to play. I don't know how it works, but it works. But any society where there is no intentional, strict defense or covering for women, there's a problem. I mean, check your own country. I'm not mentioning any country in particular. Check your own country and ask yourself what's going on with the laws defending women. Am I saying that women anything? I'm just saying. Because when the Holy Book says that they're the weaker vessel, I mean, it wasn't plain. So, I'm going to go into talking to my guest this morning with the hope that while we deal with the effects of divorce, we will come out with a tangible solution to at least the reduction of futuristic divorce situations, if not actually evacuating the possibilities of divorce situations completely. I am praying that anyone listening this morning will not find themselves in a divorce situation, because there's nothing sweet about a divorce. Even if you're getting out of it to deliver yourself from a toxic situation, it's still not a palatable situation. So I pray for you, just before I bring on the panelists, that if you're not married, you marry right. But if you're married already, that every correction necessitated for your peace and for your growth be released unto you. Because it takes a lot of wisdom to prevent a divorce situation. Listen, divorce is not written on anyone's forehead to say, oh, this kind of person can divorce or this kind of person cannot divorce. It will shock you that it's the most calm people, it's the most supposed put together people who live their marriages first. We don't know who it's going to be tomorrow. It was your auntie last year. It was your uncle 2 years ago. Should it be you? Depends on you, depending on the kind of wisdom you apply on avoiding divorce. And that's why we're having this event today, this program today. And we have as a program lineup my panelists to make this happen fantastically. Persistently on the show has been a person who chose to commit to always being available as much as lies in his power. I do not take his commitment for granted. I do not in any way belittle his capacity to always be available. It's a heck of a time and effort to be here myself. How much more a panelist? I want you to give it up this morning for my friend, my very own friend, Isaac Amayo. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
He is not in the best of shape this morning,
Can see it.
but he came all the same. What Kelly Daniels can do, he can bring anybody here. How you, Isaac?
I think I'm better this morning.
Oh, for the first time you're sipping hot tea. Wow, wow. Why did you have to come then?
Oh,
Because you didn't tell me. You didn't mention anything to me.
yes. And I've been home the whole of yesterday and the day before.
Oh wow.
So I thought it's a
Okay.
good chance to come out
Wow.
and get some
I
fresh air.
know. Oh, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. May that's fine. Welcome. Today, for the very, very, very first time on Family Central, I bring to you someone who is deep in spirit and nourished in the mind. Someone who I have known for a couple of years, who have consistently sharpened her sword to bisect issues that have to do with counseling people, raising them from where they are to where they should be. I have understudied her personal pious life myself, and I don't think I have her kind of gentility. Because people who know me that I'm not that nice like that. But Margaret Ahoshi is a very, 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 very calm, cool, collected person. Not because she doesn't have what it takes to break your head, but she just looks at you and says, you know what? Funny, sir. Just be going like that. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning, Kelly Daniels.
You good?
Yeah, yourself?
I am well. I am well. It's a very cozy morning for everyone. You see this rain, what it will cost in this country. But it's all good. We are here, and in the next 45 minutes, I want us to kill this issue of divorce once and for all. We have been dealing with this for the past 3 weeks or 4 episodes. I don't even remember anymore. And I could have changed the topic today, but I think we should just kill it once and for all. We have discussed divorce in different aspects, but this last hit is just about the consequences of a divorce situation and how to manage these situations depending on the peculiarity of the situations. I'm talking about effects on children, effects on economy, effects on property, effects on family, effects on remarriage. All of these factors are very, very key, and none is more important than the other. And that's why I just feel that it's in order that we kill this once and for all. So before you have a divorce, if you must have a divorce, this program is for you today, so you can count your costs and ask yourself if it's worth it. If there's no other way to handle the situation, yeah, I know it takes two, but when one is not willing and the other is willing, what can the willing one do? I know, but even at that, let's discuss the effects of divorce. I don't know who to speak in particular because three of us here are practitioners of endurance and a lot of hard work to keep our body, soul, and spirit together after being bashed from this from this pandemic. But again, we will survive it and we will come out strong. And that's why I want to talk to Isaac first of all this morning because he's been in the system for a while, especially on the show. Let's play soft one on Margaret this morning. Yeah, Isaac, when you hear a man of God, a renowned man of God, a celebrated man of God, a very, very successful politician, a high-profiled celebrity lose their marriage, what comes to mind?
I mean, losing a marriage is not beyond anybody.
Exactly, I said so.
Yeah,
I
and
mentioned that.
I think sometimes we tend to look at these people, these men of God, celebrities and politicians, as some, I don't know if they are demigods or mini gods. So when these things happen to them, we kind of feel like, how is that possible? I mean, you hear Bill Gates going through divorce, you hear Jeff Bezos going through divorce, and like, how? Like, what does the wife want? So what at all can they talk? I mean, sit down and discuss. But I think, as you said earlier on, the devil is against marriage.
Absolutely.
And the devices of the devil goes beyond resources and money. Yeah. So, I mean, the divorce thing, the chairman, what he can do to you. And these people are, for you know, they've endured the whole process for so many years.
So long before they come out to
Yes.
say, you know what,
Just
it's better I just leave it and walk away.
let me just enjoy the few years I have on earth.
On earth, even if I never get to do this again,
Yeah.
but let me live my few years in peace.
But I think when you hear about these people, I mean, these kind of celebrities and excuse me, big men going through divorce, we need to be soft on them and understand that they are also human beings and they have issues. Yes, that issues come in sizes depending on your level in the economy.
You know,
Issues come in sizes depending on the level, on your level in the economy. So I mean, we are getting to a point where we are making it look like divorce is normal, but it should not be.
Charlie, I so hate what you just said. It just makes me cringe,
Yeah.
which is the reality anyway. So what does a top personality actor, so I was just trying to explain, lose when they have a divorce? Because it breaks me when like men of God, for example. What do you think they really lose beyond what they say? Because not everyone goes ahead to say, "Oh, I'm suffering," and this is what I'm going through. In fact, nobody actually mentions what they're going through, especially when they are high-profile people like that. What do you think they go through when they've got? I mean, what do they lose when they have had such a situation?
I think it affects their reputation. It affects their reputation very much, and it becomes even somehow difficult for the person to talk in that direction. I mean, someone will say,
You can't preach on that again. I mean, at least for a while, for many
a while,
years, until
yeah.
you've proven yourself to say, okay, I feel that the other one, but this one is succeeding.
but don't you think that is the more reason why the person can preach on
It
it?
can preach about it. That's the whole point, because
At least I know
you
what
can
you're
come
saying
and
to
say,
the
Masa, I have been there. Oh,
I know what
this
I'm
is
talking
how I
about."
dealt with this, and this is, you know. But a lot of people shy away from speaking about it, and then more people shy away from listening to people who have had such a situation. Can you imagine a marriage counselor having a divorce?
Yes, then
I mean, where does he want to pick his life from?
didn't you practice what you were teaching us?
Yeah, exactly. How can I think this is where I'm going to talk to Margaret. Margaret, how does a marriage counselor um, um, have a divorce?
Oh,
What
okay.
can make a marriage counselor have a divorce?
I want to take the opportunity to extend my greetings to all your listeners and people watching
Mhm,
me, my
mhm.
family and my mates
Right.
at school.
Right.
And so, divorce is not a respecter of man, position, caliber, or race. So, the fact that somebody is a marriage counselor doesn't mean that that person cannot go through divorce. In fact, we are in a world of unrealities. People want fiction instead of reality. So, because people want fiction, they always want to think or assume that the fact that you are doing counseling,
Mm.
then you shouldn't go through divorce. But mind you, we have levels of counseling. We have different forms of counseling. So when we say someone is a counselor, it doesn't mean the person is just based on relationship. I mean, we have
No, I mean even marriage counselors.
even marriage counselors. So it doesn't respect anyone. It is something that we go through, and I see it as sometimes when we are going through relationship, especially in the early stages, we don't take our time, especially when we are not matured enough to go through relationship. When we are in that butterfly stage, people rush into
You're saying
things,
butterfly
and then
stage.
yes, we rush into relationship, and that is how come sometimes some people like counselors can still find themselves going through this pandemic. I call it pandemic. But
I
if
did too.
but if we as people can understand that it's no respecter of position or profession, then we can come to terms with the fact that everyone is liable to divorce. And so nobody, I don't think anyone on earth, be it a pastor, politician, a counselor in relationship, or anybody at all, has put anything or note or something aside that when I get married, then the next minute I want to come out of marriage. I'm sure that anyone that stands at the pulpit to say those vows meant it and
At the
wish
time.
that it has, yes, at the time that it had went well. But hey, if it doesn't mean that a counselor is above divorce. So I think that it is something that is got to do with humanity, and so we just have to live with it and then accept it and work on ourselves so that life can still go on.
But do people? Hi, I don't know who to ask this question. Do people understand the implication of those vows when they, especially the word forever in marriage, in exchanging of vows? When they mentioned, what is a vow, Isaac?
You know, two great people can come together, right? And they will not be a great team.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't mean individually they are not great people.
Yes.
Now, as Margaret said, no one, with the exception of the few who dubiously get married for certain reasons, no one, as we say in Akan, obi antinis kan kwaren the town for.
Well, yes.
So no one goes before the whole congregation and the whole, Almighty God, to go and say things that they don't mean it. Hearing the vows you're talking about.
Vow.
Yes.
You said forever.
Okay.
Do you want to say something?
Okay, so I think that those vows, that's what I'm basing it on.
Are they are vows meant to
maturity.
be conditional, really?
No, it shouldn't be conditional. But Kelly, I think with time, when you are matured, you understand the vows better than when you are growing up and then you just decide because everybody is married, I want to marry. So I want to share a personal experience where growing up, I hear people getting married and all the settings, those things,
The euphoria.
so for me, I didn't really understand marriage. I didn't know the nitty gritties. And unfortunately for me, I didn't even do proper counseling because we were rushing it. So after the marriage, and I realized that, oh, there's a lot to it. Okay, so even the vows I was saying, it is something that somebody will say, and I quote, and Pastor no kasa men kandi
Menkandi
na
n'akyi.
misrekan.
Oh,
So
Charlotte.
it's more of a recital or a repetition. So
Hey,
I say
that
it,
word is
so
serious.
Isaac here. So Isaac. So say after me, look into his eyes
And smile.
and smile and say this. So at that moment you are happy and you are saying things that you don't even
You
understand.
don't even have a clue.
You get it. So just like Lucky Dube sang the song, he did not know that behind the beauty there was, you understand. So after the vow, then when you are facing reality, before you go back to think, now this vows, why did I say this, why did I say that? So somebody will tell you, next time I'm getting married, like those who are divorced, I'm not going to say for worse. For myself, I said, if I'll marry again, I'm not going to say worse. I won't say for better, for worse. At least I do worse one, and maybe I have to find something and put there. So I don't think majority of people understand the vows. They are just doing a recital or say after me or some repetitive words, something just to get away from that part and then do
But
what they have to
biblically,
do.
did God say we should do vows? Did the Bible say we should do vows?
Um,
What's the history of exchange of vows?
Well, I've not done theology and
Okay.
I've not really
Uh-huh,
deep
uh-huh,
into the Bible to know that. But what I know is that there are some churches who have started making the couple recite their own vows.
Say what you want to say.
Say what you want to say.
As that makes you comfortable.
Yes, as Margaret is saying, someone say, man, the pastor said I should say it, and I said it. This
Right.
time, write your own vow, come and say it. No one said it. You are saying your own thing. So when we get to the bridge, and whether you have to cross or you have to swim, you refer to the vows.
Yeah, and say, Master, as I said, this is where I draw the line. So nice meeting you. Hey.
So as a theologian or a student in
Okay.
theology, I have not seen anywhere in the Bible, be it the Old Testament
Thank
or the
you.
New Testament, where it is written that this is what we have to say when we want to marry. In fact, if you study the Bible, I always fall on the Old Testament customs and tradition. I say custom and tradition because of the rituals or things they do. In those days, when they are getting married, I quite remember the instruction Abraham gave concerning Isaac's marriage. He said they should go and see the family.
Right.
So for me, the Bible, what is accepted, though it's not written there specifically that this is what we should do, it's just going to see the family to do what is expected of people. By going to the church doing those kind of vows, I think it's some culture. I don't want to say anything to offend any
Right.
race. So it's a culture from somewhere just being introduced and imposed on us. So I see it as more of a law, constitutional law, contract something
Right.
than biblical. So it's not biblical that we go
No,
anywhere
no,
to
no,
say
no. But
things.
Isaac, by law, is it? I've forgotten what they put on that paper. Is it forever?
Yes, they said so. Death do us
Till
apart.
exactly till that even the law says it right before you sign. Till death do you part. Should we scrap these vows? Are vows really real? Are matrimonial vows realistic?
Perhaps we are not made to understand what we are saying better. So
the
if-
explanation has never been broken down.
Yes.
Because if it's been broken down, you would take relationship more seriously.
And that is how I'm going to dovetail into the fact that some I advise that some of them, those who do marriage counseling, are not doing they are not doing a good job.
Right.
They are doing a whack. Some of the marriage counselors are not doing a good job, and I can comfortably place some of the divorce blame on their doorstep. Some of them are not doing a good job, and we should just face it and stop pampering them. I mean, maybe we should have some standards. That, I mean, if you are not married up to a certain level, or if you are not up to a certain age, because sometimes sometimes you see certain pastors, young pastors, and they say they are doing marriage counseling.
Isaac, let me put you corrected.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say corrected, but let me just add to you right there. See, there are people who are pastors but not marriage counselors.
Yes.
A pastor's job is not marriage counseling.
Yes.
A pastor's job is to build people's faith, to become better Christians for themselves in readiness to go to heaven. Period.
But I know that just a few churches have marriage
This
committees
ex-
and marriage counselors in
Even
the church.
those marriage committees are not supposed to be if they are not taught.
Yes.
The fact that your marriage succeeds for 20 years or 30 years does not qualify you to be a marriage counselor. Because what works for you or what has worked for you so
Exactly.
far has no business with working with somebody else who did not
Exactly.
live under the circumstances in which you
Exactly.
you prevailed.
Was not married to the partner you're married to.
Exactly. In fact, no two children of yours can receive the same counseling that worked for you in their marriages, because they are going to import, even if they have your spirits, they're going to import spouses from wherever,
Yeah. Learn from a lot of things. Your
and
classmates,
so
friends.
it can't work. So what makes a marriage counselor is being taught how the nitty-gritties of counseling works.
Exactly.
No marriage counselor would say this is how marriage works. A marriage counselor is supposed to assess the two people involved to say, based on my study of you both, this is what I recommend will work for you according to your peculiarity. There's no book on how marriage must work.
I mean,
There are background and foundational methods to which every marriage will work anyway, fundamentally. But then, once it becomes two different people involved, it must come with a certain level of understanding of the two people involved first, before you tell them what will work for them. Most marriage counselors in churches and in wherever they are people who the church supposes are of age, of a certain age, and their marriage looks okay from the outside in a certain way. That is not the blueprint. That's not the foundation for every other church member's marriage in that church. You tell them this is what works for us, but this 30 years later I would not recommend this. And by the way, how many married counselors today are bold enough to talk about their flaws? Have you ever
we have a counselor here.
no have you ever seen a counselor? I'm asking her too, because me I say it as
Calm
it is.
down.
Today is not nice.
Calm down.
We have to say it as it is. How many marriage counselors publicly mention their flaws? Of course, Isaac, you know me. Sometimes I can come online and say, I'm not in the mood today. I'm not, give me a break. I'm not answering any questions today. In fact, everybody to your tent. I'm dealing with my own, I'm thinking about myself. But how many marriage counselors will say that? Will come out as if it's I just want to say this outrightly. Let us call a spade a spade.
Not a digging too.
Yeah, not a long spoon or a big spoon. Marriage is peculiar to who, but as to what makes it work, it is not anybody's prerogative to make sure your marriage works.
So Kelly, I don't want us to blame the counselors per se, because for me,
they have their portion. Let us establish that.
I know, right?
Okay.
So my problem is that for me, as a pastor and a theologian, I don't even think that it is the business of the church when it comes to marriage. It should be left with the family. That is a family affair. So for counseling, if anything at all, we should do post-marriage, because the pre-marriage counseling doesn't really help. So when people are already in the marriage, and then that is a time that they need to be counseled, so that we know what they are going through, how we can guide them to go through all of those steps. But if we say that we've done some 1 month, 3 months counseling, and people are now married for so many years, they are not getting any guidelines and stuff, those things that I think is causing the divorce. Because when we look at the statistics, right, people who do the traditional marriage solely, their marriages are working, they don't go through so much divorce and all of that. But look at it, the church, that pastors are involved, just like Kelly is saying, it's not every pastor who is a counselor. You need to go through training to know what to do and what not to do. But because somebody is a pastor, then they think that they are in the position to counsel people to marry, and then they are using their own lives. You can't use your life. Even in the law court, no two cases the same. When you go through the divorce courts, where I've done some observation, lawyer is here, no two cases are the same. So I don't think any judge is going to give a judgment based on, let's say, Isaac's marriage or my marriage or Kelly's or lawyer's marriage. So it's going to be different. So we need to understand that no two marriages are the same, so that, I mean, counselors should get educated, they should upgrade themselves, they should know what they are about, and then give people options to pick from. And you know, the danger is that, Kelly, some of the counselors who are not kind of somehow educated in this field, they even go as far as giving people the what they should do. Like, they tell you what to do. But in counseling, you don't tell anybody what to do, you give options. Yours is to give options, and they are supposed to come up with what will work for them. But we try sometimes to impose on people what to do. And if they are in some kind of abusive marriage, you hear somebody saying, do you want me to die?
It shall be well. It shall be well.
What is it shall be well? The person is dying, you say it shall be well. So I think that if you really want to do counseling, then get yourself educated. That is what I would say. But we shouldn't put it on the counselors. I just think that you're overhyping marriage. And so when all of these people come around, all these plenty people, a bit more any good eyes, because we live in a world where we are fighting not against flesh and blood. So all the people that comes, no. So I think marriage should be left with the family to handle.
Just a quick one. Do we have some standards or certification for counselors in marriage?
Of course. There is.
Every counselor is supposed to have
is.
been trained by reputable organizations who supposedly know what they are doing. However,
who supposedly
know what they are doing.
Okay.
However, there are certain how can I not have the right words in my own field?
Where the number?
There are certain exceptions, yes.
Okay.
To the fact that, void of going to have any academic education or whatsoever, you just can tell this person is bloody gifted for that role. So it's not cut in stone, but that everybody must have a formal counseling education. That is very, very needed. That is very, very, very necessary. To cut out people who just wake up and say they are counselors. So at least help them go through a certain tunnel to make them know that it's not as easy as it sounds. So go through the process, yes. But there are certain people who are born for this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the name of a person who I know who is born for this, but I know one, and he's on radio at the moment. But
the one doesn't like money. The one doesn't like money.
But seriously, it's time to even know what the law says about this divorce thing, because it has ruined a lot of people even the more. It has wrecked men. Of course, it has affected women, but it has for me, I think it has wrecked more men than women.
Why is
no,
men?
hold on. I said for me. Is it your opinion?
No, but you can't say more men. Why are you not saying more women?
Is it that's why I said is it?
Because the women,
Let me say,
the women have the children.
Oh,
when there's
me
a
say,
divorce, it's the
is it?
women.
I've not. First of all, I've not even finished.
No, so say
I am opinioning my
everyone.
opinion.
Oh, Kelly, this is unfair. Say all people and a lot of people.
Okay, marriage affects everybody involved.
Thank you.
Especially men.
Me that was it.
Oh my goodness.
See, a man, okay, let's just leave it. Okay, I take back my words. I beg whoever is listening on radio who wants to shoot me, I'm begging you. Marriage affects everybody involved. But then let's talk about. But then marriage. Okay, let me take away men from the matter. Marriage affects children the most.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
So that's a balance, right? I was going to say men between the couple, but as a family sector, children the most. But even at that, I withdraw it and give it all to the children, because in the first place, they didn't beg to be born, they didn't beg
Oh,
to
you
be
mean
raised.
divorce affects the children the most?
Divorce, I mean to say, divorce affects the children the most. They didn't beg to be born. They didn't beg to be raised in the house that they found themselves. They didn't choose their parents. And so, literally, their future depends on how you handle this divorce situation. But it has happened, that has happened. Divorce has happened. GFK, what does the law say about a divorce situation? What qualifies people for divorce in the first place?
Good morning. First
Morning,
of all,
JFK.
to your listener and the
Right.
viewer.
It's our listeners, it's all of us.
Yes, who may be streaming.
Right,
So I think that we've gone over this for some
Enough,
time.
enough, crowd.
I always say that the fact that you're having a situation in your relationship or marriage, in this sense, does not mean that, and you want to quit or exit from that situation, does not mean that it is something that you can put before a court for divorce. There has to be certain facts that the court will consider, if they are existent, before it will even go ahead to hear and then possibly grant a divorce, dissolve a marriage between two parties. So the last time I told you there are 6 of them. You need to first of all prove that one of the parties has been adulterous. That is one. Secondly, you need to prove that one of them is being unreasonable. 3, that the parties have not lived together as couple for a continuous period of 2 years. The parties have not lived together as husband and wife for a continuous period of 5 years, and even unreasonable. Did I mention unreasonable
Yeah.
behavior?
Yeah. You mentioned. I mean, we've done
I think,
this
uh-huh,
for
so
GFK.
desertion.
We've done this.
Desertion.
Desertion,
That one
yes.
party has deserted the other with the intention not
Not
to
come back.
Return.
not to return. And lastly, also that the marriage has broken down beyond
Beyond
reconciliation. No, in all these things, you need to prove to the court that the marriage has broken down beyond reconciliation before the judge will even go ahead.
Before you go on, I have a quick question on the point you raised. You
Yes.
raised a point about not living together as couple for 2 years.
Yes.
And another for 5 years.
5 years,
What's the
yeah.
difference?
Okay, so for not living together as a couple for 2 years, in that one, most of the time, you have married and you are having issues, and so the courts may not listen to any what's it called, any invitation for a dissolution if the marriage has not even lasted for 2 years.
Okay.
So it's after the 2 years of the existence of the marriage that
that you can-
generally the court, somebody can even go to court and say that, what's it called, I want a divorce. But normally, if the parties for the 2 years that we are talking about, the parties have not done anything as couple, as couple for a continuous period of 2 years. They could be living in the same house, and yet they are not doing anything. Everybody wakes up, one wakes up and goes his or her way. They don't talk. They don't have any form of intimacy and all those things. So you can, with those things, you can prove to a court that we have not done anything as couple.
Okay.
We don't agree on anything. It doesn't he or she doesn't resource me in any way. It doesn't do anything for me. And so the things that I expected of married people, we don't do any of them. So we are not living together, even though we may be in the same physical space. Everybody does his own thing. But for 5 years, it could be that one has actually left.
Okay.
It's not even around, has what we normally call separation. There has been a separation and one has left maybe the matrimonial home and they are living apart, and they see that there's no way they can resolve whatever impasse there is. You understand what I'm trying to say? So those are the little nuances between the 2 years and the 5 years. And so the court will have to make a determination whether the marriage has indeed broken down beyond reconciliation. I always say your counselors have not been able to reconcile the parties. The pastors, if there are family heads of family or some opinion leaders or respected people that the couple will generally go to for advice. They have all tried, and yet the parties are unwilling to come together again. Then the court will now say, even when you have done all these things, the court also has to make a determination. First of all, say that you should go for ADR, alternative disputes resolution, to see if there's any glimmer of hope or there's an opportunity. Maybe whilst you have gotten to the court, one will say, Charlie, this thing I don't really want to go to. I was just trying to scare him. And then, that kind of thing. And
that happens?
Oh, it happens. And let me tell you, as a lawyer, I'm not here advertising myself as a lawyer or anything. Far from that. Even though I am, I have seen situations where one has come and is very agitated and adamant and say that, I want it. The other party has done this, and I say, okay, fine, go bring this, that. 2-3 weeks, 1 month, 6 months down the line, the same person who was sitting before you and was banging your table and was telling you, swearing,
want to break the table.
Swearing.
Have you ever replaced a table?
And was swearing hell and heaven, heavens or high water, whatever. Whatever, comes back to you and say that, please hold on to it because this, that, and that. You understand? And that they are going to even travel, and they've gotten their documents and they are leaving.
Hey.
So hold on to the document, and you are like, what?
Really?
Is it you?
The same you?
Say, yeah, that time there was so much pressure on me and this and that and that. But you see. And then you are sitting there and looking like, what?
So if you are taking action immediately at that time, Nanka,
or a third party.
What? Exactly.
In the case you become defe.
So these are some of the things that, I was saying, you need to show the existence of these facts,
right.
Before a court will even listen to you. So let's be careful about what we think may be an issue under which we can get divorce or not. That's why I always advocate for people in that kind of situation to get proper legal advice. Don't listen to anybody on radio, excuse me to say, or even TV and say, what he's saying is exactly what I'm going to. He has said it and I'm going ahead. Go for proper legal advice. There are as many lawyers as possible that you can find wherever you are in Ghana who can sit you down and go through the process with you.
Margaret, what, in your opinion, and from experience perhaps, is the effect of divorce on children, regardless of their ages?
Sometimes you get them kind of, they are called in, or reserve wouldn't be the right word to use. They are timid.
Timid. That's powerful.
Kind of timid. I mean, they lose joy, kind of, because it's a whole family, and they see both parents around. Now it's just one party, so they are kind of not happy, and they throw a lot of tantrums, like to say that. So where they find themselves, they might think that you are the cause, or it depends on the people involved, either the mother or father. What you tell them to, they might think is the other person, so they even develop some sort of hatred for any of the parents. I'm saying any of the parents,
Depending on
because
the
sometimes,
information they are
yes,
fed with.
yes. So it has, and sometimes when they can even go through depression. Yeah, children at that young age can go through depression, or children, they can also be adults, right? So they go through depression.
Children are children,
And
regardless of
some
even 100-year-old is somebody's child.
yes.
I know, right?
So they go through depression. Some of them don't perform well when it comes to education, because they don't even have the sound mind to study. So if it affects almost everything around them, and if you come, especially when they are with toxic parents, there are parents that will make you feel that it is the father that is this, it is the mother that is, so they just want to bring the children into it. So when people are divorced and they involve the children, it really affects every aspect of them, especially their performance in school and society, even at work. A lot of things happen to them. So I always say that in as much as you are divorced, the children should be set aside. Deal with your partner, don't involve them. Don't try to tell your children bad things about their father or mother, so they can be safe and sound to move on.
How can the children not be involved in the divorce? Because for even if they don't know what is happening, they can see that mommy and daddy are not on good terms. They are not very cordial.
No, so when I say don't involve them in the divorce, what I'm trying to say is that whatever issues you are having, yes, that's the reality, you're having issues.
Okay.
But don't draw them into your issues, where you make the child because there are homes that when they are going through this challenge, they try to play the holier than thou. So me and you, Isaac, so maybe you are trying to tell the children that mommy that is not good.
Trying to play victim.
Victim. So we shouldn't play victim. We should deal with ourselves as mature people, as partners, and then make sure that when the children are around us, we don't involve them. So there are people who can pretend around the children just for them to be happy, and then they do their thing. I know people who are divorced, they are living separate life, and they find a way, because the children are young, they just tell the children that, oh, maybe this person is working here, that is why you don't always see the person, so that at least they get that stability up to a stage where they can understand these things. Because if not, children are always, there's that misconception that children are born to their mothers more than their father, but I can tell you that it is 50-50, because children love their father, they love their mother. So we have to be swift about it, so that we can avoid this depression, Down syndrome, and underperformance in our children.
Jeff King,
Yes.
if a man experiences a divorce, what does he legally have to lose?
Legally have to
Lose.
well, a man
Starting financially.
financially.
Yes.
With
his estates and all of that.
most often
What
than
does the
not,
law say?
most often than not, it is most often than not. It is not always the case. It is the man that pays alimony to the woman.
There's somebody listening right now that
The woman
I
normally
want her to
demands
listen.
alimony. In Twi, they call it impatasika.
Wait, before you go ahead. So, wait, I'm coming over. So, if the man asks for divorce, the woman asks for divorce, still the man will pay, regardless of the situation.
I'm not saying
No,
that.
I'm not saying you are saying. I just want you to add this to your clarification.
Okay. Any party at all could be the one requesting for the divorce, but most of
the alimony, you know.
so let me make the argument. I say any party at all could be the one requesting for the divorce,
yes.
and most often than not, even if it's the woman who is asking for divorce, it could ask for alimony from the man as well. You understand?
You are going.
Yeah,
I should
exactly.
escort
Said
you.
that he
I
should
should pay you
give
for
you
going.
a lump sum of whatever.
Sumono.
Hey!
A lump sum or whatever. You understand? Most often than not.
Does a woman ever give alimony?
Oh,
Does a woman ever give compensation? I'm just asking.
I have read some cases where it is the other way around, where the woman has to compensate the man. You understand?
But
I've
they are
read,
very
but,
rare cases.
those are very rare. Especially even in this part of the world, they are very. I haven't come across it, and so
You can't come across,
but
don't
I've
worry.
read where it is the other, where it is the woman who is asking,
The
because
woman, the
based
woman.
on certain maybe, how do I call it, promises or certain understandings between the party, then the man can say, oh, based on one or two, this or that or that.
But
You
when it comes to alimony, is it about the financial status of the two parties involved?
It's not really about the financial status.
Okay.
It's not really about the financial status. There are many factors that come to play. Maybe just for the other party to be able to be resettled in life, to move on to something else,
Okay.
to have an economic activity where you realize that the party doesn't presently have any economic activity. So some of these things are to kind of give that party a cushion after
springboard.
a springboard after the divorce and all those things. And so most often than not, it is from the male to the female for her to move on, to be resettled, maybe to find accommodation, to have something, an economic activity, and to be able to keep up with living standards in life. Then, quite apart from that, apart from the alimony aspect of it, there's also the matrimonial property or settlement of property issues between the parties, where they will decide that I will take this, I will take that. This will come to you, this will come to you. Because once you get into the marriage, once you get into the union, whatever you acquire, generally, is considered as what matrimonial or spousal property. Whatever you acquire between the two of you, it could be the woman or it could be the man. Whatever you acquire during the subsistence of the marriage is regarded as spousal property.
Whether they contributed to it or
Whether
not.
they contributed to it financially
This life,
or
eh?
not.
Oh, please, please. Today I'm not the
Making the
host.
thing look like
We
it's
are all
only the-
talking.
Whether-
No, I didn't say it's about women. No, I'm just
Yes, yes,
sharing.
yes.
So what lawyer is saying, I've done a
JFK,
bit of
JFK,
law.
call him JFK.
JFK.
Yes.
So I've done a bit of law, but not divorce law. So, and I've also had first-hand experience with some people who had gone through divorce, and then the women are rather compensating the men. So I think that it's based on the issue. If the woman is at fault,
The
for
peculiar
instance,
facts.
yes. For instance, if the woman had caused some adultery, maybe it's adultery, and there's proof, then the woman is the one to compensate. But the problem here is that many men, men has ego. So they love us regardless.
Yeah.
So men don't really ask for anything. Once you want to opt out and you are at fault, you want to go, they don't ask you for anything. But I would say, I'm a woman, I know they'll come at me, but we are so greedy that sometimes even when we are at fault, we still have that audacity.
You're welcome to the show.
To go and to say
Officially.
that, see me off or something. So I think that the men don't ask for it, but in some situations, the women also pay for alimony. When the man is bold to ask for it, they are given. So it
Yes.
depends on the situation.
Margaret, let me just catch you and add to what you're saying. We all heard of a case in this country, I don't want to mention anybody's name, where the woman couldn't have children, had tricked the man that the children that they had was the man's children, and yet they were children from somewhere, wherever and they had stayed a long time, and they were going through the divorce, and the woman was hanging or asking, demanding for now it showed up in court that she was the one who was at fault and yet wanted to still grab. It didn't go in her favor. I don't want to. It's a very popular case in this country, but I don't want to speak. I'm just bringing it.
No,
to,
you're
yes,
totally
yes,
correct.
yes. When the woman was the one at fault, had been lying, had been deceiving, and yet was the one who was the most vociferous party in the
Divorce
divorce,
man.
and was asking
The
and
lawyer is in town.
Vociferous. All over the
Yeah,
place.
so you see,
all over the
in
place.
that case, the man is good. Otherwise, the man could have also asked for something for all the wasted years and all of that. So I'm saying that men are kind when it comes to the issue of divorce. They just
And
let him go.
we don't see
so
it.
they don't ask for money back. I will agree with you to say that men suffer the most. Financially, you do, but we all suffer.
Isaac, families. Before we've talked about children, we've talked about the men. Families, what do they stand to lose when a divorce situation has been recorded? When I say family, I mean family of the person. For example, your family now. What's the effect of your divorce pertaining to your family?
Let me tell you
and then
something.
the effect of divorce with both parties' family.
Let me tell you something that happened the day I had my divorce.
Right.
I just left the courtroom and called my father and said, "Oh, how are you? I'm fine." Those pleasantries. So I just left the court and I've been granted the divorce. He just gave me that long sigh. I said, "Okay, you just give me that long sigh and said you'll be fine." And I felt he was in a state whereby he was not happy about what I've gone
Right,
through
right,
and what had just happened to me. And I mean, that short conversation kind of explains what families go through when their own goes through, divorce. On the broader perspective, let me use myself as an example. With my ex-wife's family, I'm not sure I'm really cordial with anybody.
This guy, he will just come here and say his mind and get out of the place.
Oh, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I'm not cordial. So far, I think it's only his brother that we are still friends on Facebook.
Her brother.
I mean, her brother
Right.
that we are still friends on Facebook. Sometimes, once in a while, we test. Like, I mean, so we men, we don't really.
Boys, yeah, we are always different.
I mean, sometimes he's into this 3D kind of thing. So sometimes I see his work, so Charlie, you are doing well. So Charlie, chairman, and that ends it. But I mean, the sisters and other people that I know, we are not really cordial. And I think that's when a couple get married, they bring two families together. So the divorce equally separates the two families. And it takes a lot of maturity and wisdom for the two families to know that, okay,
This is the point.
these two people came together, they are not together again. But that doesn't mean we are enemies. It doesn't mean we're enemies. I mean, if I meet you somewhere, I can greet you. I mean, the other time I saw one of her uncles who is a pastor, I just waved. And for me, even though during the real process, we were really against each other, but I mean, after everything, I mean,
JFK, do you know this divorce could affect friendships?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Mutual friendships.
Yes.
Hey,
That's why I always tell I've dealt with you in a number of situations. That's why you have to be slow in getting into it.
I thought you weren't taking your job seriously.
No.
In my mind, I've told him
the kind of
this guy's a
training-
very foolish boy because I'll be giving you case, chop money to you.
No.
JFK will delay the divorce case.
It will not divorce again.
The people who are divorcing will not divorce again. One has even died.
Yeah.
She said she got tired.
Exactly. But the kind of training I had in my career told me that I should be very slow in getting into because the effect of whatever people are going through could be very, very, the consequences could be very disastrous or could be dire. So in those kind of cases, I am very, very, very careful and cautious as to the steps I take. I even become an extra counselor when you come before me with those things, and then we go through a lot of things for you to, at times they are not, because of whatever they are going through, they cannot process the aftermath or the after effect of what they want to do. And if you don't sit down and tell them, this is what is going to happen, this is what is going to happen, and then when they get that light, they say, oh yeah, there was, I don't want to mention name, there was somebody like that who had a husband outside, outside, came to me and said that through some circumstances, the person had been brought to Ghana, had been deported from somewhere, a country somewhere, and had been brought to Ghana and had been separated from the white husband for so, and it looked as if she was never going back.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that she explored was asked me, so if she wants to do divorce now, how are we going to go about it? Then I started to go through the process with this lady, and then she sat down and said, no, I think what you are saying, as we speak today,
That's
she's
the
back.
man. To the man.
She's back, left Ghana, went back, got
Wow.
united with the man again.
Exactly.
I don't want to mention, you know the person.
Absolutely.
Got back through some circumstances. We sat down, went through a wrote this. She went back, got reunited with this whoever, and then everything. How do we call it? Was the children's fairy tales was they lived happily ever after. You understand? Came to me, one of the issues that she came was she wanted, because she thought that she had come to Ghana and she was going to live here forever. She was never going back to wherever it was that it is. And so what can we do about it? Weeks, months, years. But she went back.
She went back to the guy. He's dead now, but I mean, it's true. I mean, he died at a very, very ripe age.
A ripe age,
Very,
happy
very ripe age.
to have reunited
Yes.
with the person.
With
and
someone over years.
satisfied.
Separate, yeah.
Kelly, no, we don't want to.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not professional. It's not ethical to do so.
Exactly.
But you see, you see, JFK. Sometimes when people read my social media, and they see the kind of stories I post, it looks fictional. It looks, oh, this one is Nollywood. People are dealing with issues that they can't say to themselves. They can't even tell their siblings what they are going through.
You ask yourself whether this thing is really happening.
It's really happening.
Is it reality or?
They don't even trust their siblings to share what they are going through.
You know, marriage is that one thing that can make you question your intelligence.
I'm telling you, because it looks like what am I now?
You know, when you
what's
are
happening
in
to me?
love, it's a different thing altogether. You put away the intellect and the intelligence and everything. When that love is in the air, you are irrational. You understand? Until maybe some challenges come and say, did I really do this? You understand? Was it really me? What was happening to me? So that's the when reality begins to set in, then you sit up and say, oh Charlie, yeah, I've been in bedin some phone. Bedin some phone, but yeah, it was really you. People have done stuff.
Margaret, the effect of divorce on the mind of the individual.
Early. You can be depressed. You feel like,
Especially on
You are
your
not-
work. You know,
you are not human anymore, because see, it's because of how society treats us. When you are going through divorce, and you say we can even lose friends, they think that, oh, you've gotten it all, you want to do this, but they don't know.
hold on, Margaret.
what
You know,
are
the
going
first
through.
3 years, I couldn't talk to anybody. In fact, I couldn't tell anybody what had happened. The shame of, no, how do I tell you that, oh, all the posts, all
Or the guy, the guy.
all the peppering, every small thing I post, Charlie, that thing is no more again, no.
Just yesterday, a friend was telling me, when we were married, you were putting marriage in our eyes. Like that. You were putting marriage in our eyes. But
Now
she was not
the
teasing me, but we are friends.
I don't know,
every day
understandable.
They say, you are posting about your wife on Midwife's Day, World Women's Day,
all-
every day my wife, every day my
Nah.
birthday, every day this.
So, first 3 years. Now, I couldn't make. The word is still not coming.
For like 2 years, I did not go to
Everything
church.
shut down. Everything shut down. From posts to church to talking to a mentor. Look,
I have to change my church.
Bah.
And up to
Aye.
now, I don't do weddings. I don't do engagements. I don't do
I think you don't
funerals.
go.
No,
You
I don't
don't-
do all
you
of
don't- you
those
don't-
stuff.
because it
Especially
reminds
with
you of too
settings
much.
that old settings. As in
Hmm.
old settings, people have known who came to my wedding and all. Because the wedding was big, Isaac. And you know,
Big women
so
things.
I don't go to people that know because they'll go like Okawa went. And you know, I have a belief. I can't go about telling you
How it-
everything
what
about
hap-
me.
how many
So
people do you
I
want to
try-
explain to?
Yes, so I just have to avoid going to wedding, engagements and funeral and all those social gatherings. Even in my family, my own family, there are certain gatherings I will not. I just avoid them just to
But-
have my peace of mind. So it still has a toll on me. And even in relationship, Kelly, when you meet people, you still have that thing mindset that is it going to do ABC? So you are even
You are in the
afraid to
spirit.
commit.
That's the next
You
point
are
of
afraid
as
to
we conclude,
commit.
because committing to another
Yes, you are afraid to
after
commit.
coming from another
not
is
easy.
another.
No.
Oh, did you hear that?
I mean, it's been 50
Bad,
years.
bad,
Committing,
bad,
Baz,
You know.
Baz, committing to another after coming out from another is another.
No, but honestly, I
Hey!
think the society must be socially sensitive
Exactly.
when it comes to such issues. And for me, in particular, I was not going to church because of the where is your wife, where is your wife concept.
It's just
And
questioning yourself and different aspects.
these are people who have heard something somewhere, and for some reason they want to hear from your own mouth.
You also don't want to explain to them.
And they are not able to bring themselves to terms with the fact that this young man might be going through a lot. So
And
when I
that-
meet him, we should not just talk about this or that. And those who annoy me most are the people who go like, "Do you want me to talk to her for you?" And in my mind, I was like, when time I'm here in the line, and when I'm in the line,
Hey.
You see, thank you. Isaac is a principality
no, like
on this show.
Oh my
I saw the
goodness.
person and went for the person, and we are having a difficult time, and we decided to go our separate ways. You want to come and bring us together in your capacity as what exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
JFK, you won't get it. You,
I'll-
won't get, you
I'll-
can't
for
get
me-
it. But you never get it.
I was just tired of the where is your wife, where is your wife, where is your wife, those kind of questions. And I don't know. There was a time I had to apologize to somebody and said, we are no more, and I apologize for wasting your time. I mean, the person came for the wedding. And sometimes you look at the kind of people who, with their busy schedules, made time to come for the event, and that didn't work. Then you're like, Charlie, I'm wasting your time, pal.
See, it even affects how people see you.
Oh, yes.
It does.
It's as if it's scandalous.
Yeah.
Just say you've committed something has happened. Your life will never remain the same again. They look at you from a perspective of divorcee.
No, they see you as evil, actually.
They see, in fact, they think you are the one who did
yeah.
it. You are the cause. You are the cause because that man, I know him. He's a good man. You are the one who spoiled it. Or that woman, I know she's a good woman. You are the one who spoiled it. They have no clue
When
what
we were having our issues in the early part of our marriage, we went to our counselors, and when we were sitting down, the male counselor said, "You have." I remember those words very. He said, "You have a good woman. Don't lose her." Then his wife said, "I think you two have a communication problem. So go and work on the communication." Now these are two different things
That's
that they've
better
said.
to say than say
You
don't
who are
lose
saying I
her.
have a good woman, are you the
You're
person?
judgmental
are you
already.
staying with the person?
Exactly. Are you
You
staying
know
with
the person in church.
Yeah.
You don't know the person in the house. You don't stay with the person. You don't sleep on the same bed with the person.
You see?
And up to now, I mean, once in a while, I talk to the woman. She told me, after listening to her, she was just looking at her and said, "Oh, I think you have communication problem. I mean, because when I listen to you, you're all saying the same thing, but maybe you're not in different ways. So if you can work on your communication and try to meet each other halfway." And that made a lot of sense to me. Than just saying, you have a good woman. I mean, don't lose the good woman. Hey, chairman.
Yeah.
So the effects are enormous, right? I mean, up to date, for me, I'm not able to do so many things. So what I've tried to do, occasionally when I remember, then it gets on me. And when I talk about it, I feel so bad. So I've decided not to visit my past. So I try to shy away from old friends, build new ones where I can find peace of mind, because I don't want to talk about it.
You dwell on the
But just
past.
like Isaac is saying, people don't have, like many say Sebio, someone it's like
Not
their
socially-
mind is not
socially
working
intelligent.
kind of. You should know that the person is going through something. But I don't blame them. They don't know that going through divorce, a whole lot of pandemic, because even getting up to go to court the next day, now we are, you can even have brand new stove. It's true, you can have brand new stove when you know that
Before you-
tomorrow you are going.
Margaret is a realist.
What you go through, you see, people think that when you go to the AMA 2 weeks or something, then you go
Nah,
for
sir.
that. Now I call it worry. Divorce is a different thing, no. So those of you who are so there, please try and make it work, because and that I'm not saying that boa stay there, but if it's a real something, that communication, you can just try to make it work, because going through the court, facing people getting to know about your issue, that's one thing I don't like, that people getting to know about your issues. I'm a private person. It's not easy up to date. It's not been easy for me. So I'm not able to do relationship because I'm afraid. I don't want to do
Junior boy.
marry mini boy. Your boy. I have a friend so dear to me, but I'm careful. I just want to take it slow.
Why are you looking at me?
No, I'm not
Take it slow.
in particular looking at anybody,
I
but
want to take it slow,
let's talk
that's all.
about accepting marital proposals from divorcees. Finally, I mean, don't you think it's more difficult finding someone to believe in you? First thing, once they know you're a divorcee, they want to know what happened. And you can't explain, how do you even explain to someone that this is what happened and this is what happened? And even when you do, you see, it takes a certain intelligence to date a divorcee or marry one. Most people who marry divorcees are prejudgmental based on the stories they told them. You see, Ntina, you see, that's why she left you. You see, that's why he left you. How could that marriage have worked when
Yeah.
this and this
You
and
are
this and
A,
this
da, da,
and
da,
you
da.
did this and did that? You're like, hey,
I've had about 2 episodes of.
that
ladies-
is why she
ladies
left
telling
you.
me, yeah.
That is why he left you. Because if he can't be, if this is how you are treating me, it must have been that you treated that one like that. Meanwhile, Isaac, talk to me.
I think I've had someone tell me. I mean, we're not trying to go out or any we're just having a conversation. She goes like, she heard the divorced men are broken men.
Broken as in what?
Maybe they are
Emotionally.
emotionally unstable.
Okay.
Emotionally.
But for me, I wouldn't fault in the sense that when you are divorced, you kind of have certain triggers. That there are some things that you see as, hey, I've seen this before. This thing I've seen some before, and I know where it ended. And I mean, most of the time it may not even be what you are thinking, but there's always that part of you that harbors some fears and is able to identify with certain traits and characteristics that you
Is that
think-
defense?
that yes, that should be defense, because you are kind of protecting the small you that is left.
That is left.
Yeah, the small you that is left. And I think we live in a part of the world where we don't take therapy seriously. And I mean, when I finished, I signed up to post-divorce counseling. And I mean, friends ask me, why? That's okay. I want to marry again, so I want to really cut off that part of me. I mean, I'm sure I can't cut off totally, but I want to really suppress that part of me and try to start from a clean sheet. And I think Margaret was talking about post-marriage counseling,
Yeah.
and I think we also need to take post-divorce counseling seriously. That's when you go through divorce. I mean, you take the time to heal, but take the time to go through some counseling to really, I mean, sharpen your edges again. Before you realize you are carrying whatever errors you made in the earlier marriage into the next one. And I think stats has it that people who are divorced are likely to to
Divorce
divorce
again.
again. Maybe
Quicker.
because
Quicker than the
Quicker.
previous divorce.
I mean, because sometimes a part of us is that, Master, what haven't I seen before?
Mm.
And I will not allow you to come and, I mean, mess me up like someone tried.
Families also contribute to why it's difficult for divorcees to marry again. Because by the time they know you are a divorcee, they don't want to release their son or daughter to you because you've messed up your first life. What guarantees that their son or daughter is safe with you?
Oh yes,
this time?
and I've met somebody who was very point blank. I mean, we were vibing very well, but she said, "Oh, I mean, in out of her angle was from the Bible. She says that according to what she knows from the Bible, if someone is divorced, you can only
And you
marry,
marry,
when the spouse is
that's
dead.
misconception.
So I mean, I like you. I mean, we are good, but I mean, I mean, we can't marry. And I mean, those are respected opinions.
Margaret, how do you wrap up such a show? How in 1 minute, how do you wrap up such a show? What
And
would be your
so
final
I
words?
think that, just like Isaac said, we should be matured as people to handle people with divorce, who are divorced, and then we should do premarital counseling, post-marital counseling, post-divorce counseling. I mean, anyone who had gone through divorce should find a counselor, a therapist, because I got depressed and I had a psychologist that I spoke with every now and then. I think I'm doing well. So we need help. Everybody needs help. Get the right person. Talk to somebody. Don't keep it in you. Talk to somebody and look out for help any way you can find, but with the right people, and you'll be good to go.
JFK.
So I've always, on this show and elsewhere, I'm not somebody who, even as a my faith, the faith that I express, does not really advocate for divorce. But that is not to say that it is a bad thing. If there is nothing you can do about a relationship, and you think that it might even result in fatality, you understand, because your well-being is is paramount. We need to ensure that you are sound, you are well, you are okay to carry on with life. If you come to that point and you think that it is only divorce, speak to a lawyer, get professional advice so that you can be taken through a very good process towards the getting of your marriage or your union dissolved. But just like my other colleagues have said here, before you even get married, please get good advice, good counselors, people you can trust, who can tell you the realities of marriage. Don't just look at a couple and say that this is how I want my marriage. You don't know what is going on in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Let me use a legal term. They say that marriage is something that is in personam. It's a legal term. So if you are not, it's in person. It's personal to
me,
the
yes,
people
to the
involved. So don't just sit and say, hey, the way they come to church, the way they go out, the way they dress, the way they talk, and you are high up in the air about those things. You are being deceived about the realities of that union. So get advice, get experienced people to guide you if it is you are getting into it. And even as our advocates have said here, whilst you are in it, there might be issues. So post-marital counseling should be the thing now. Post-marital counseling that people should speak to you about, so that, because one of the issues that people are not able to handle are irreconcilable differences. Two people coming from different places and coming together as husband and wife, they have different experiences in life, and it takes the grace of God for them to be able to manage those differences. Otherwise, the next day is saying, I want out of me, I can't stay with him. That kind of thing. Please get advices to help you. Read books, open yourself up to instruction, because we want the best for you, for the children, and for all the other people, the families, the friends that we identify
Yeah.
are affected by the effects or divorce when it happens.
Right.
So please, let's try and minimize all those things and live happy lives.
Isaac, final words, Pacho.
I think we should be a little patient before and even during the marriage. Yeah, most of the time, with the exception of few cases, I mean, with the exception of few cases that lead to divorce, when you look back, you realize that, what really happened? Was it really, 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 really something that we couldn't have discussed and tried to meet each other halfway? And I mean, I think it's evident in what GFK was saying, that a couple can come to you and give them, okay, go and get me this document, go and think about this for a month, and they go and they never come back. But at that time, the temperature has really, really, really dropped. So we should be a little, patient when we have that, let's go our separate ways, feelings.
Ladies and gentlemen, we pray that none of you listening to us would ever have to deal with a divorce situation. But if you ever have to, receive comfort, receive wisdom, receive succor, receive consolation, receive peace, because it's the least we could offer to you on Family Central 103.5 on Star FM. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again another time, certainly next week. God bless you.